This is Bloomberg Businessweek with Carol Massar and Tim Stenovec on Bloomberg Radio.
Make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh. Don't you know everyone wants to laugh?
Yes, indeed, everybody. Let's make them laugh and laugh a bit more. I mean, I gotta say, it's not always easy considering the news flow and the stresses that are out there, right? Economic, personal, or otherwise. Gotta love that from Singing in the Rain.
You know what, though?
Dennis O'Connor. What?
It's actually good to laugh.
I know. Okay, so
This is good for us.
We are nerds, but...
Speak for yourself.
The Mayo Clinic points out that when it comes to relieving stress, more giggles and guffaws are just what the doctor ordered, noting that a good laugh has great short-term effects. When you start to laugh, it doesn't just lighten your load mentally. It actually induces physical changes in your body, including stimulating your organs, soothing tension, improving your immune system. So everybody in the control room, you better be laughing. No more. Yeah.
I better go to the comedy festival, the 17th annual New York Comedy Festival.
Yes. About to get underway in early November. A legend in the world of comedy is with us today in our studio, Caroline Hirsch, founder of Caroline's on Broadway. Of course you know that. She's here in our Bloomberg Interactive Broker studio. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. How are you?
I'm good. So we have quite the medicine for you. The New York Comedy Festival.
My voice doesn't usually sound like this.
The New York Comedy Festival, November 3rd to the 12th. We've extended it this year. We're 10 days straight. Probably about 150 shows, still counting. Wow. We're still adding. We're still putting people together, so still announcing new shows coming up. 22 theater shows, so we're very, very happy.
Caroline, I just had family in from Texas, and you know what they did? They did a bunch of things around New York. It was a short weekend. They went to a comedy show. People want to experience things. How did you guys think about that? Like, are you seeing increased demand or a lot of demand coming out of the pandemic of people just wanting to go to things like comedy shows?
Well, I think that in general, people want to go to live events, and I think live events are like the big thing right now. So, look, when we put tickets on sale, we got a really, really robust kind of reaction to it. So ticket sales are really, really good.
That's great to hear.
That's good. It's good for New York.
Okay, give us some names.
Because,
who's going to
Bill
be there?
Burr at Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
Shane Gillis at Carnegie Hall. Mateo Lane, Jimmy Carr, Anthony Jeselnik, all at Carnegie Hall. And you know what happens that, people go to Carnegie Hall and then they'll go to the restaurant across the street.
Right.
So what we do is bring this stimulus to New York City, which we're always happy to do, and we have a lot of fun with doing it. And then we have, we have Brett Goldstein. Do you know him from Ted Lasso?
Yes.
So he's doing 3 shows at the Beacon.
Wait, can we all say what he says? Oh no, we can't say that on air, can we?
You can, Carol, but it might be your last show.
We do say it a lot in the newsroom, but go ahead. He's so great.
Yeah, and then we have, we have a big event, which is Stand Up for Heroes, which kind of opens up the festival this year on November 6th. So we have Jimmy Carr there, Tracy Morgan, Rita Wilson will be singing, Shane Gillis, Ronnie Chang, Jon Stewart, who's a constant there, and also Josh Groban and John Mellencamp. So that is quite a show.
Are they doing comedy? Those last two?
Might be.
Are they singing?
They're singing.
Okay.
They're singing.
That's so cool. How do you think about when you put it together? 17 years and running. Talk to us about like how it's evolved.
Oh, it's 19 years. The festival is 19
me.
years and 17 years for the Stand Up for Heroes. But it's 19 years. Next year we're having a big blowout, the 20th year in New York City.
Wow.
We start the day after we finish here. We start for next year. Actually, we're trying to secure venues already for next year. Our big shows at Madison Square Garden. So we do that constantly.
We don't often, because we have a global audience here on the program.
Do we really?
Yeah, we do.
I had no idea. That's some comedy for you. I'm only kidding.
I'm looking into the control room to see if they can save me. They're not laughing in there, Carol.
I know. I'll stick to my day job.
But we do, and we have a national audience as well. So why are we talking about something here in New York? Well, because a lot of people from all over the world and all over the country come to this. Talk a little bit about who this attracts and sort of where New York is right now in the comedy scene, because, there are people who are saying, okay, LA is, a classic place for comedy. You got Joe Rogan in Austin doing his thing, trying to make Austin comedy happen. Where do you stand on all this?
Nah, you can never negate New York.
Okay.
Nah. You can't take the New Yorker
Says
out of
a good New Yorker.
No, it's here. It's here. It's here is where it starts. This is where you get the creative juices. This is where you get the ideas. The whole thing with LA was that, which is not so quite in fashion right now, is to go out there to get your sitcom. That's not really happening anymore. Now it's
Wasn't happening over the last 5 months with the writer's strike. I can tell you that.
I guess they're back.
That's a really good point, because you did see a lot of comics for a long time, right? Get a series and then just move to television. It's kind of not happening.
But now
as much
the
anymore.
touring that goes on, when you have a great special that's on TV, you take that and you go on the road, and that's your millions of dollars that these people, comedians are making on the road. When you're selling out Beacon Theaters, Carnegie Hall, when you're selling out the Garden, this is big bucks. So it's a big business for a lot of people that have really made it and are able to tour around the country.
Can we talk about the business of comedy? And I think about last December, your iconic club, right? You did not renew your lease. It's spot in Times Square. How hard was that?
I wanted to stay, and then there was a part of me which did not want to stay because of the way. And I don't want to put down Times Square, because I went there 30 years ago to build it up, and I was part of the renovation of Times Square and the renewal of Times Square. So I'm not going to put it down, but things were changing there. The city was changing there. I felt that after COVID, the whole seascape there was changing. And I said, let me step back. I own the brand. I want to take the brand. I'm extending it through the festival. And then we have other ideas where we're going with that.
Okay. Give us some of those other ideas.
Yeah, well, we're taking the Carolines brand and, kind of producing content and putting it out there, and specials and everything else that we do with comedy on a grander scale.
I mean, it really was the end of an era for you not to renew your lease there.
Well, yeah. I was there 30 years in Times Square.
So, I mean, Times Square changed a lot in 30 years, and it changed a lot just in a few years because of the pandemic. Talk to us a little bit about what happened and the decision-making process and the external factors there too.
Okay, so obviously I went to my landlord and I go, listen, we need some relief here. Things have changed a lot. So can you? He goes, no, actually, we really want to raise the rent. So I said, oh, but there's so many repairs that have to be done. I'm here for 30 years, air conditioning, electrical work, just things needed to be upgraded. And he said, well, that's just what the deal is. And I tried very hard to stay there. And then I just said, well, I'm out of here now at this point.
I'm done.
I have other things to do.
Well,
did you look for other physical spaces?
No, but I have to tell you that we had so much press when we closed that so many real estate developers called me. And said, I have spaces for you, and I will even help you build it out.
So why didn't you do it?
Well, I'm in the process of taking it all in and deciding what the next big move in. It'll be four walls, but it'll be something very different.
What a great feeling.
That is pretty cool.
Right. What a great. So this is like a to be continued?
Yeah.
You'll come back in like 2 months, 3 months, 4 weeks?
I hope sooner, yeah.
No, but that's a really good thing, because it's funny, we look even around our environment and the retailers that aren't here anymore. And I remember one retailer leaving, I think it was Pottery Barn or Williams-Sonoma, and I said, why are you guys leaving? This is a great location. They're like, no, it's really expensive for us to be here, and we just can't afford it. And I just think about, whether it's businesses or companies that have really been so much a part of the NYC fabric, and then all of a sudden they just can't afford it.
Well,
it's just crazy.
It's changed. Things have changed. We heard about Target closing. So it's bad. It's bad. But then again, everything's kind of shifted online. Things have changed. Thank God we still have Bergdorf's here.
Well, with change comes new opportunities. And like you say, there's probably things obviously you can't talk about. But, when things, what do they talk, when you get lemons, you make lemonade. Like you find new opportunities. Caroline is on the show right now. Can I ask you, what do you find funny today? Oh, are you crying? Oh my God, she's actually tearing up.
It's good, I'm laughing. Yeah,
oh my God, we need laughter. What do you find funny today?
You know what it is? You know what I find funny is that it's almost the point when a joke it reaches the point where it is such a great joke that it hits the point that it's almost politically not correct. And those kind of jokes.
Carol wants to talk about.
Oh, those kind of jokes are brilliant. To get to that line, make your point, but not go there.
Remember when we could say, it's a joke, people. So
you can still say that.
No, you can't. It's how tough. Well,
it doesn't matter if, Netflix staff walk out over, your special. you're still selling out arenas across the country. I'm talking about Dave Chappelle here.
That's the truth. Yeah.
Is it tough for comics today, though?
I don't think so. I just think I just think they need to stay on a steady, straight path, and I think that they do realize that things could be offensive. And I think that, look, I've seen a lot of male comics change a lot of stuff. What they used to say, they wouldn't dare say that. I mean, they get strangled by every woman in the audience. But things have changed like that, and I think people are, mindful of other people like that. Like we were just talking before I walked in here. I was talking about Don Rickles today. We said, "Oh my God, he couldn't insult people like that today."
That's
a good point.
I grew up
but
watching
it was a joke.
Don Rickles, Dean Martin, all those guys. Like,
but you think self-censorship is real?
I think it is. I think it is. But to a good self-censorship, not anything like. I think it's good. But it's that brilliant joke that may cross the line but doesn't, and those are the greatest. Those are the greatest
Who
jokes.
can still get away with stuff? Who can really push it? Are there certain comics?
Well, Dave Chappelle can. Ali Wong can. That's a
She's
woman that
funny.
can hit that mark of not crossing the line, but crossing the line.
Where you going?
My turn.
Where you going?
Okay.
Go.
I want to know your opinion, Caroline, about the role of comedy clubs today, given that there's YouTube, there's TikTok, there are all these places where comedians, up-and-coming comedians, can post their content and build a following there.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing for clubs, because when they build the following, then they get booked into the club and they make really nice money, and everybody's happy because they sell out. So it's also still that live experience. People still want it. They want to go in that room with you and me and all laugh together. That's what they want. That's the thing about what makes a joke. It's that the community is sitting there saying, "Oh God, that happened to me too," and you laugh. So it's all part of that live experience. And I'm seeing that with the festival, as everything is, everybody in the festival has a terrific online following. I mean, millions of people.
It's a huge part of their job now.
But they want to go out and see them. The same thing that happened years ago when you had that great HBO special. That built you up so that when you toured around, you would sell out.
Right.
So that's all money in the bank for the performers.
The 19th Annual
So
New York
that's
Comedy
why-
Festival this November. I'm giving you a shameless plug. Hey, listen, take us back, because you've been doing this a long time. Back in the early 80s, you began. I mean, Jay Leno, Jerry Seinfeld, Pee Wee Herman, Billy Crystal, Robin Williams, Sandra Bernhard. I know. Chris Rock. I know. It breaks our heart, right? Like, these are people that were funny like no other. And changed, I think, the way we see comedy, enjoy comedy. Yeah. But in the early days, is everyone funny out of the gate?
Well, you see, we were just talking about Bill Maher. So, Bill started at my little club on 8th Avenue. But of course, you grow over the years. Jerry Seinfeld, you grow over the years. Jay Leno, grow over the years. But Jay has always been this menschy guy.
And Jay tours, Jay tours like 4 days a week now.
Probably
still.
Every weekend he's out doing something. And so Jerry Seinfeld. Every weekend he's probably somewhere doing 2 or 3 shows, back home again during the week, and that's really his life, because he loves what he's doing.
What do you remember from these guys in the early days?
We were all so new to it. It was like, when I opened Caroline's, it was like the first headliner club in New York City. It was like a yuppie, that word, yuppie, we're going back to the 80s, yuppie nightclub that opened up. And it was when David Letterman was at 12:30 at night. Jay Leno would be at my club, and he'd say like, "Oh, I'm appearing at Caroline's." It gave us this national play around the country. And that kind of set up the club. And I remember, Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman, bringing him to New York. I have such fond memories of him. And, I didn't, up until he was texting me on my birthday, sending me birthday videos up until the end, saying, "Listen, we need to FaceTime soon. Are you coming to LA? I'm not coming to New York." Didn't tell me he wasn't feeling well, because we'd always text each other back and forth, and I had no idea he was sick. But he brought his show to New York. In New York, they conceived Pee Wee's Big Adventure. He was going to ride his bike from LA to New York City with this unknown director at that time, Tim Burton. Who knew? But that's what Paul had. He had that creative part of him. Those comedians that I worked with from the beginning all went on. Look at Jerry and Larry David's show, Seinfeld. Oh my God, earth-shattering. We still say, we were just talking about it last night. I still turn it on and see an episode I haven't seen.
Right.
So
you always make references to Seinfeld.
I've seen them all, I got to tell you. Okay, so we only have a minute left, Caroline, but comedians who've made it love to say that in order for a comedian to make it, you've got to bomb. Give us some stories of some prominent bombs that you've witnessed in your day.
How about Larry David? And he would say, oh, it's the audience. They're just terrible. And he didn't do that once or twice. He did that all over.
I can see that. I can see the Curb Your
He would
Enthusiasm
walk
Larry
off the
David
stage.
saying that.
They're terrible. They're terrible. They bomb. Yeah.
I got to say, and what you've done for women comedians, right, when they were just so far and few, and just to see everyone out there today, it's incredible. You are incredible. Come back anytime. Let us know the news if you land somewhere, okay? You can share it with us. And good luck. Again, remind us when the festival is.
November 3rd to the 12th. Go to NewYorkComedyFestival.com, and you would be amazed to see how many shows are listed there to go see and have a great time.
Thank you so much. Good luck. Be
Thank
well.
you.
Caroline Hirsch, founder of Caroline's, of course, on Broadway, here in our Bloomberg Interactive Broker Studio. Carol Massar, Tim Stenovec. We're not funny, but she is, and
That's
her
true.
lineup is. This is Bloomberg.